What's up, guys? I'm fresh off the NYCC Tenno VIP Afterparty, and boy do I got a lot to talk about. So, this is the Excalibur chibi statue that I got with one of the gift packages, and it also came with this nifty bandana. And I've got to say before I get into this that I have been the most excited with these devs than I've been with anybody or anything in my entire life. I could have met George Clooney and had less excitement for meeting him than I was with meeting DE. They're just astounding people. I mean, they don't act, they have this way about them, they're just very friendly and so awesome. The fact that we even got gift boxes to begin with is just amazing. It came with 75 Platinum, the Excalibur chibi statue, a Noggle for your game, the bandana, there was a bingo cards that where you could win a Rhino statue, which unfortunately I did not win. I didn't even get my bingo cards in there in time because I didn't know that was a thing. I managed to get all their signatures along with all their pictures. I talked to DE Steve first. He's the first that I spotted. The conversation I had with him was mainly about my YouTube page and the different content which I'm going to be showing, and how I would very much appreciate to be using my talent in digital extremes. How I can illustrate, how I can do concept artwork, how I can do just a little bit of 3D sculpting and whatnot. I'm a jack of all trades, and if I'm going to be putting my time into Warframe as much as I am, dedicating like 16-hour days, then I might as well be getting paid for it as well. So I would like to continue to keep doing YouTube videos. I would like to continue doing builds and everything of that nature, but I want to expand on it a little bit more. That way, whenever I get bored of playing the game, or whenever I get bored of making videos, whenever I get bored of doing whatever, I have another job. I always have something lined up to do. So when I talked to Steve, it was mostly just about who I am, what I can bring to the team, and so if you're watching this video, I'm going to be showing just a little bit of why I'm an asset. DE Sheldon, oh man, he was the most talkative one out of the bunch. He just went on and on and on, and it's one of those things where it's like you meet somebody and they just won't shut up, but that's totally fine because you could listen to them all day. If I had more time to do so, and if he wasn't visiting with everybody else, I probably would have sat down at the bar with him and just talked for hours on end. And my hair, for whatever the reason, when it got sweat in it, was just acting like a bowl cut. And my hair is not like that. So he did tell me, because I asked him some questions about Kavats and Excalibur Umbra, and he was very sketchy on the details because he didn't say whether or not Excalibur Umbra was going to be a skin or a standalone thing. And I asked him if it were a skin, would it conflict with the Excalibur Proto skin, which is a very important thing to me because I want to wear Proto, but I want my Excalibur to say Excalibur Umbra. The Kavats were supposed to come out 17.5, but they didn't end up making it because, quote, Sheldon thinks that Kavats should be very different than Kubrow. Kubrows are aggressive and snarling and charge right at you like tanks, whereas Kavats are going to take the more evasive approach and distract and play with their targets and, all very promising details, except for the fact that he did say that they would not share armor, and this is the one thing that was told to me the entire night that I was just so upset about, because I have two different armors for my Kubrow, and whenever you have a Kubrow out, especially if you only have one, considering the fact that the incubation chambers, so you have to have one in stasis in order to have one out, the only way to, play with another one is to put this one in stasis, take this one out, rush the cooling down, and it's all just a mess. And he addressed that he might just cave. Over time, he might cave and just take that system out. And the question I posed to him was, if you're going to expand on Kubros and, you know, the stasis chambers and whatnot, are you going to add something more for Kavats? Because when it comes to Sentinels and Companions, we can just hot swap between loadouts and have that Companion ready to go. But with Kubros, we actually have to put one in stasis and then take the other one that we want to use out. So it would really suck if we had to then again do that with Kavats as well. If we had to put our Kubro into stasis and then take the Kavat out, and then put the Kavat into stasis and take the Kubro out, it would be very, very monotonous. And he's working on that, and he says that he plans to have it out by update 18. But it's still up in the air, so you can't quote me, and you can't quote him, because, I mean, obviously if they didn't meet their own deadline for 17.5, then they may not meet their estimated deadline of 18, and henceforth the reason why it's not announced in the live stream. But it's still something to talk about. DE Rebecca was my most favorite member to meet last night, and it's odd of me to say that because DE Rebecca, she's just like nerdy in live streams, and so I wouldn't say that she entertains me as much as everybody else, but wow, in person she's just totally awesome. She's so enthusiastic. I mean, when I put my hand out there and I said, I'm Aiden Lives, she's like, oh, Aiden, she knew exactly who I was. I mean, she didn't know my face, but she knew my gamer tag, and that was splendid. I said, how do you know me? I would think that I wouldn't be a very memorable name to come across, and she said, well, I'm the Lotus. I know everything. I bet she really didn't know, she was just pretending, but she did so in such a great way that, you know, I instantly forgive it. I mean, who can really be upset with that face? I wasn't going to be upset to begin with. I was going in there thinking that I was going to be nothing, nobody that, you know, nobody knew, but I announced to pretty much every single one of them that I joined during Update 7, so I'm a long-standing running member who only recently started YouTube. So, again, shout out to DE Rebecca. That was awesome. You're a great person. I'm a very negative person, just simply because I don't have a whole lot of emotions that other people do. Other people. And so if there's ever a person who's able to rub their happiness off on me, they're outstanding, which is what DE Rebecca was. So I really appreciate that. DE Scott, he was probably the funniest. And the reason why he was so funny is because right away when I went for his signature, he seemed to be a little tipsy, and he said the more the night goes on, the worse I get at this. And he also admitted that, you know, he's up in front of the live stream, and it's quite embarrassing at some time because, you know, you don't have a problem talking with people, but when you're thinking about the concept of, you know, 9,000 people watching this, I totally understand, but I just take it differently than a lot of people. I don't know, I'm just good at social speaking, and he openly announced that he's not, so that was good to just reminiscent with him. I didn't really get to have a whole lot of in-game talks with him, but just the casual shooting the shit was pretty fun. He's another swell guy. Always, every time I see him, regardless of whether it's a live stream or in person, he's having a beer, which, you know, it reminds me of, you know, friendly uncles who weren't the type of violent drunks. They were just super funny. And yeah, so he posed the idea that we take a serious picture together. He said, serious or funny? And I said, well, I've gotten pretty much smiles and good charms all up until that point, so I figured, hell, let's do a serious one. And I'm not convincingly serious at all in this picture. Again, my hair is definitely doing some type of strange shit, and I look all misproportional as hell, so. DE Megan, DE Megan. Need I say more? Me and Megan have had conversations previously on the forums, so she probably had the most exposure to me prior to this, and so my conversation with her really swayed a little bit more on what she's doing every time I see her on my friends list, and she was talking about exploring for bugs. And it just so happens that I had encountered a bug that she hadn't heard of at that point, and it was regarding the new additions to 17.5. It was the airdrop support from your Lyset or your Mantis landing craft. And what happens is, and I have video footage of this, which I'll be putting up, you'll shoot the glass, and then everything will get all screwed up, as it always does. It goes into lockdown. The problem that I was facing the first time I discovered this was I was surrounded by enemies, and I could not get to the terminal, otherwise they would kill me, because it was a nightmare mission. And what I ended up doing is I actually called in the support from my Mantis to get the alarms to shut down. And I was thinking to myself, hey, this is probably going to seal the blast doors as well. Well, what ended up happening is the doors opened, but the blast doors did not seal the suction from space, so I was running around my entire mission with the camera shaking, and even though this is a glitch, I would love to see this be implemented in some way so that, if you're making like a machinima or just you're spotlighting something, you can make it seem like it's really intense. But then again, if you're also video editing, you can just do that yourself with camera shaking effects. But it was just really awesome. I don't think it was hurting my shields. Like, if I got into the same room where the suction was happening, it was hurting my shields then and only then. But I can't even necessarily remember. You'll see whenever I put it up on video. But she addressed that was definitely a bug. It was not intended to happen. The only other thing we talked about is when she's online that I can pretty much help her with anything. I've got, since I have the Warframe God Builds channel, just about all my Warframes have been significantly updated to make sure that I don't go down very often with any one of them, and I put out enough damage. There's a couple of things I build for. It's to take care of myself, to take care of others, I build for the utmost outright damage. So allow me to explain God Builds one more time for those who may not understand by now. Warframe God Builds is not just reviews of specific weapons or Warframes. Warframe God Builds is a combination of the weapons that are good with powers. So if you have a slow weapon such as the Fragor or Sindo Prime, and you use Valkyr's Warcry to speed it up, and then you also put Berserker and Fury on this weapon, along with your Point Strike and your Organ Shatter. Every time you hit a crit, you're going to be speeding up, and it only takes one speed up to really get it going. And before you know it, with Warcry, you're going to be just blazing through enemies. And so that's why I decided to go with Warframe God Builds. A lot of people were requesting that I share my builds, and I said, what the hell, why not just share everything? So the first episode I did was Limbo, the second I did was Valkyr, and the next one I'm looking to do is probably either Rhino Prime or Vauban. I'm still working on Vauban because they just recently released Sonicor, and I find Sonicor to not only match Vauban visually, but also in terms of him just running around without using Bastilles, because my mentality with Vauban is to just coat the entire map with Bastilles. That way nothing can attack me. But if I'm doing a mission like Survival or something where I have to be on the go, Sonicor is pretty much perfect for just, knocking everything down until I can deal with it later. So I would expect to see the Rhino Prime build be up as a God Builds before I would see Vauban. Other confirmed builds that I know that I'm going to be doing are definitely Ash Prime, definitely Excalibur, definitely Hydroid. I'm not going to cover every Warframe because the way I am, I'm not in it for Mastery. I don't care. I'm still sitting at Mastery 16. I could be up to 19 as long as I've been playing, but I'm very, very meticulous about what I build. I'm my builds are so much more intimate than everyone else's. And that may not be a fair statement, but I do spend a lot of considerable time and effort trying to find the right weapon to work with the right Warframe. So, in terms of God builds, they're going to come out a little bit slower than, you know, everybody else. A Gay Guy Plays or Mogamu, they're going to come out a whole lot slower, but it's quality over quantity is what I believe it to be. So, there's a lot of good stuff underway. You just got to give it some time. And if you want to know anything further about Warframe or recruitment, regardless of what it is, feel free to contact me via Item Lives. I will also leave contact information at the bottom of the description, so you can join our clan, Starcom, and start wrecking people. And if you're on Xbox or if you're on PS4, then I'm sorry, we can't help you. As always, if you guys like this video, rate, comment, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Even if you don't like it, do whatever. Until next time, peace.